I recently switched over to Substack and I've been over there for about a month. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about why I personally switched over there. We are going to talk about sort of like my strategy and how that connects to YouTube. And yeah, we're going to talk about how it's going. Okay, so why did I personally switch over to Substack? So I personally switched over, or I say switched over. It was kind of a switch, but I started using Substack and I switched over because I recently paused my Facebook group. I actually like the Facebook group. It was a great way to build community and be that sort of like bridge between YouTube and my email marketing platform. And so I would share my thoughts over there, share like behind the scenes and stuff. But over time, I started to feel really boxed in, and I kept thinking I was like, I want to do more, but I literally just can't do it over here. So as we know, the social media apps Facebook's algorithm, it limited the reach, and so posts only got picked up, they only picked up traction if you played by the very specific rules. The live features in the Facebook group was very frustrating. I couldn't easily share my screen, if I wanted to go live and just share something that I was doing. Couldn't do that without it just sharing the screen and not my picture or my face on the side, which I just thought was very weird. So I would be a voiceover on the share screen. And then they blocked out external streaming tools from streaming inside of the Facebook group. They also limited video storage, so now they delete everything after 30 days, and I'm this is too much. So it started to feel really clunky and restrictive. So even though I loved the Facebook group, those little points started to really add up. So I thought about creating a school or some type of community like that, but I didn't want to start one of those communities and then have to consistently produce more content. And yeah, school I think was a little bit too much for what I needed. So I started looking at Substack, and I think it wasn't a decision that I thought long about. I was just whatever. I joined a 6-week Substack cohort, and then I realized all the features that it had, and I was oh, this is pretty cool. So I was building on there for a few weeks. I let the Facebook group know that I was going over there. Some people went over. I let my email list know. They went over. And then I eventually just uploaded my existing email subscribers as well, many of whom actually came from the Facebook group. So basically in my Facebook group, I had automations where if people dropped their emails into the question boxes, it would then be saved into a Google Sheet, and then it was connected to my CRM, which is FG Funnels, and it basically automatically put them into a email sequence, and then it dropped them into my newsletter. So the overlap and interest was over there, and I was a bit iffy about moving the email subscriber list off of FG Funnels and on the Substack, but honestly, that probably should have been the first thing that I did. I do see that I have lost, I do maybe lose email subscribers a little bit more than what I would usually do if I, just use my normal email marketing platform, which is the FG Funnels. But I also kind of wonder, if it's because they're actually getting the emails. So Substack's deliverability is really high. And if you guys want me to show you sort of my back end of Substack, just comment down below and I'll do a screen share or something like that. But yeah, I'm getting a few unsubscribes, but that's fine. And so I switched the type of newsletters that I send out. So before I would send like YouTube video, I would go just a tad bit into what the YouTube video was, and then I sent the email out. So there was like a few different templates that I used. And then I also did like launch emails too. So when I was launching, it all went out. But what I've just been doing recently is what my sort of like content workflow is now is I go to Substack first and I write out all of my thoughts over there. So I guess you can call it like the whole video script or whatever. So I write all of my thoughts over there and I upload my Substack article. And then what I do from there is my YouTube video is just my Substack article, but it's like the video form of it. So, and then from there, what I'll do is I'll repurpose it to Threads, or I will repurpose it to the YouTube post. The YouTube post section. My gosh. So it is a little bit more work than what I was doing last year. Like for a few years prior, like first I was just on YouTube and I was doing only YouTube. But I like to add like other platforms sort of like in the mix of that. So I'm not on Instagram. That app, yeah, it just confuses me, and it's just not a platform I want to be on. It's completely deleted off my phone, but I have YouTube, so now I have Threads as well. Threads is actually a pretty cool place. I've been having fun over there, but I'm just basically like repurposing my thoughts. I stopped just putting random thoughts on Threads. I'm like, okay, let's actually use this thing intentionally. And yeah, so basically this year I have some projects that I want to do or start soon, and I know that's going to require a lot of visibility. So I'm thinking sort of like a long term about the apps that I want to use. YouTube is definitely staying, of course. But Substack is also another long form platform, and so it's searchable, it's discoverable, and it's living somewhere where it doesn't expire after a few hours. So that's why it was like a really good idea to pair YouTube with Substack, because not only am I linking my YouTube videos, but I can also link my offers. I can link my lead magnets, so whether it's a workshop or whatever else. And it also gets discovered in Google as well. So yeah, and then on top of that, I haven't talked about like the monetizable content. So I can actually monetize my newsletter as well. So if there's like extra templates or something like that I want to put in there that would have went well with the YouTube video or would have went well with the newsletter, then I can just put it behind a paywall. I do have a few paid subscribers on there, which actually most of them came from YouTube and they just kind of followed me into my other ecosystem. So whether that was the Facebook group or the email list, and then they kind of transferred over to Substack. If you did that, thanks for app hopping with me. But yeah, it's just like a really cool place to be, and they have like a lot of interesting features. So like now I know they just started like a TV app, so they're trying to basically directly compete with YouTube, but I actually think they kind of work together in a sense. I think if you're a good writer, then you possibly have great potential to be a good speaker, and if you're a good speaker, you should definitely be on YouTube. So it's like long form thinking. They all connect. So yeah, in terms of like the engagement on Substack, so since I had a few subscribers on Substack when I first started. I gained about maybe 30 or 40 subscribers before I just fully imported my list. What I found when I imported that list was that most of those people that I imported the list was already on Substack, which makes sense because they're content people, so they would be on the next platform. But yeah, what I'm finding is the new way that I'm sending the email newsletters now is people are actually replying back to the newsletter. And people would reply before, but it wasn't very often. But now I'm getting replies from the newsletter weekly, like every newsletter that I'm sending out, which is again basically long form thinking and my YouTube video, but like written out. People are responding. They're either quoting things back to me. One lady did say that my Substack article, she used this one word, but she basically said it was really long. I don't know if she said unimaginably long. It was a word that she put before the long, and I was like, you're absolutely right. Sometimes I do just be yapping. And that does include on the Substack article as well. But she was like, this was still great, and I signed up for your workshop. So I was like, oh, okay. And then someone else, which is actually she was a client before, she read that article, and she's a therapist, but she said from like a therapist point of view, this article is great. So got like a lot of good feedback that I switched over. So I don't regret that I switched over. I don't regret that I imported my email list over. As a matter of fact, I own the email list. So if they're still subscribed, I can still send emails out from my original platform, and I can send it out from Substack. And I do know some people use like both of them, but yeah, I don't. It's a lot to sort of like be managing like two email platforms, and maybe once I get like a really good hold of my workflow, I can add that in. But right now, it's just best to have everything like on Substack. So Substack's covering the email newsletter capability. It's going to cover the community component as well once I get more subscribers from the actual app. So yeah. If you were thinking about switching over to Substack, let me know down in the comments. If you have any other questions about Substack, I know I yapped about Substack for I don't even know how many minutes this is, but I covered a lot in this one video. So like if you guys want to know more about Substack, definitely like let me know in the comments, and I'll answer it to like the best of my ability. But yeah, let me know what you think about Substack down below, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.